So this is my official stance on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, part 3. Remember that they are changing my voice. I left off on point 22 where I said I do not believe that every person in Hamas is a monster. Now, I'd like to point out that what's going on is a sort of theater of war, right? They say the show must continue. And of course, the military is obviously merged with the state and various companies. Everything from pharmaceutical companies to weapons manufacturers, mental health groups, and more. And that's about controlling the sentiments and behaviors and moods and thoughts and dating practices of people. Using rape by deception takes away from one's masculinity. Raping people does not make you a man, okay? And this stuff absolutely connects to the Bible. We'll get to that. So point number 23. On the issue of collective responsibility. Though the principle of collective responsibility when used correctly is valid, the Palestinians are not collectively responsible enough for the Hamas attack for it to be a valid justification. Okay, so they did not contribute to it enough for them to deserve to be treated the way they are. And I came up with this point when I heard Putin on the news, and he was arguing that basically that the Israelis were punishing the Palestinian people collectively. And if we look at their exact tactics, we can see that that's basically what they're doing by their actions. They're saying something else, but by their actions, they're doing that. And we'll get to that. Point number 24. This conflict, as well as other events, highlight why there is no hope for a decent future. This is one of the most important points, right? Point number 24. This conflict, as well as other events, highlight why there is no hope for a decent future. Think about the coronavirus and why exactly it occurred. Not just because of negligence, because of tech, breeding, cheating, and generational ill-gotten gains. The types of people we have are, overkill. The fact that the planet was stolen from the righteous, and there's no hope for a decent future, no hope for a moral future, no hope for a human future, because their humanity is not intact. Their offspring's humanity will not be intact. Going back to Isaiah 57, the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil, and the wicked stay here on earth. Okay, the children of the prostitute, the children of the sorceress, as it says. Okay. So point A, right? I can prove this off the Bible. Anyone with any sense sees that their entire governing class is pure evil. Point B, no one honestly believes that one government or their elites and their satellites are good. Okay, so no one believes that these people or their proxies, their token minorities, their allies are good. No government at all. Everyone sees that the governing class is pure evil. Okay, there's no missing that in being an adult, for example. Point C, no one honestly believes any of their propaganda. Point D, tech, T-E-C-H becomes C-H-E-T when it's scrambled, kind of being spelled out for you. It's an overkill. It's even cheat scrambled, right? So tech, cheating, breeding, and generational ill-gotten gain have finished off mankind's souls, right? After my flesh dies, there will be nobody with a soul intact around. Okay, is the simple answer. If my parents outlive me, except for them, that's basically what's going on here now. Point 25. Jews around the world are often poor. Okay, so the policies of the governing class also are affecting the Jews around the world who are poor, and they like to use these things to sort of coerce Jews who aren't who aren't as controlled one way or another, whether they're pro-Israel or pro-Palestine and they're controlled opposition. They like to coerce them to make sure that they're doing everything that the people in charge want. And they say they want them to prove themselves and to show them that they're on their side by having sex with them and so on and so forth. That is a very common tactic. That's a huge part of what's going on here. Again, if you disagree with any point I have or any remark I say, please comment. Okay, I would love to hear a viable counterargument. If you don't present a viable counterargument, you continue to suppress my videos and troll me and so on and so forth. Instead, I'll take it as you concede 100%, and you believe that you and your offspring deserve to be damned to hell for what you have done to the righteous, especially me. Point 26. Palestinian DNA includes the Levant, Anatolia, Natophian, I believe it's called, Iranian, Caucasus, and Sub-Saharan African is about 6%. So damn near, 20%, 1/20th, excuse me, damn near 1/20th, okay, of their DNA is Sub-Saharan African collectively. But that's not my concern here. Okay, this is interesting when you look at Levant, Anatolia, and Nan. That's more my concern. Why are they so related to European peoples? Okay, it has to do with the British occupying Palestine. It has to do with, the Jews, mixing with them. When we look at the Anatolian and we look at Nan, we see that these people, right, on the Egyptian depictions I was shown, for example, they look like textbook Jews, like Jews from Palo Alto, Jews from New York. They look like textbook rich Jewish kids who are into, some kind of occult philosophy or liberal philosophy or something. Okay, so it's not just that, these people are related from the Bible. They're related from rape by coercion, from occupation, etc. And it goes back to, we talk about the Babylonians and the Syrians and the Persians who occupied Egypt. They had to cross over, that area to get to Egypt, Palestine, what have you. And they also occupied them. So you see that they're mixed with their occupying races. And also, Sub-Saharan African DNA, for various reasons, found their way there. And some of these black people moved there, apparently, for some reason. And some of these people were there from ancient times. Okay. Point 27. I do not think it is fair to censor free speech for petty reasons like racial supremacy. The Attorney General said that they seek to denounce hate, to put people in jail, consider psychological operations, and provoking people till they say things they otherwise wouldn't, including covert drugging and what have you. And these two statements are general statements that is open to interpretation by a wide array of oppressors. So when they say they want to denounce hate, what do you mean? You mean suppressing the righteous and suppressing righteous indignation, which is what's happening in my case. When you say put people in jail, you mean you're going to try to provoke me more than you have already and try to put me in jail, or try to financially sabotage me and hope I turn into a thief, and so you can put me in jail. So what are you people up to? What are all the angles that these kind of unsavory governments of the world that we have are willing to play? What are the angles they're willing to use to achieve the kind of world that they're forming, the kind of social engineering goals that they have? And again, we should be focusing on my 5.4 trillion over 30-year plan. It's 180 billion a year in America, which would be used this way. 100 billion for building tiny homes and small homes to wipe out homelessness and to create affordable rent. This can be done with rent that is no higher than $300 for tiny homes for those people who aren't homeless who can afford it, and $500 for the small homes. That can be done that way. And also, $70 billion for purchasing farms and operating costs for food programs. Also, $10 billion for law enforcement. Combating poverty, combats crime, including terrorism. So why did I bring this up here again? It all connects to that, right? Part of the reason why people lash out and they don't care, because you made them extremely poor and they're being discriminated against. You look at the economic disparity, you look at the racial wage gaps, you look at the religious wage gaps, you look at the various things of this nature. You see that there's a bunch of rich white Jew and LGBT people, and they are mistreating other people, okay, including poor whites, poor Jews, poor LGBT people. And when you're not one of them, you tend to take the brunt more than other people do, is the general trend that we see. So they should be focusing on that plan. Okay. Point 28. Internet censorship already exists to a large degree, and you see almost entirely the posts of people who are brain dead, so to speak, and or parrots and trolls. Okay, so they are already censoring the internet. Society's been censoring the internet since I've been going on it since I was like 11 or 12 years old. Okay, they take a sort of assertive stance. They plant, government-sponsored trolls on the internet since I was, since GeoCities, AOL, and Yahoo Chat when it was popular. Okay, this is nothing new. Now, this is an extreme version of what we have already, which shows you that they're incrementally building a more oppressive sort of mental slave state. Point number 29, I am against forced evacuations of hospitals. Okay, of hospitals. Hamas is said to be under the hospital, and though this may be true, it is not an excuse. They need to build them hospitals in Egypt and elsewhere first.